Hello and welcome to the news here on Magic Bricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. Let's take a look at the top stories that we're tracking. The gloves are off and swords are out. In Maharashtra, political parties gear up for the upcoming civic body elections. Mega Magic Bricks Now impact. Bengaluru's controversial steel flyover has been put on hold. The Bengaluru Development Authority gives an undertaking to the Karnataka High Court that it will not proceed with the construction. And Delhi is still paying for its Diwali festivities. Polluted air and poor visibility on stretches of the highway leads to a 20-car pileup on Yamuna Expressway. 12 people were reported injured in this early morning accident. Straight to a Mega Magic Bricks Now impact. Our sustained campaign with the citizens of Bengaluru has indeed paid off. It's a big win for the citizens of Bengaluru fighting against the VVIP steel flyover. The Karnataka High Court has put the steel flyover on hold. The Bengaluru Development Authority, the BDA, has given an undertaking agreeing to not start work on the controversial project for now. We have our correspondent Shrija getting us more details from Bengaluru. Take a look.
In a big victory for protesting citizens, the Bengaluru Development Authority today gave an undertaking to the Karnataka High Court that it will not proceed with the construction of the proposed steel flyover. Remember, citizens have been against this flyover and they have been protesting for over a month. The Honorable High Court said that it would examine the legal and constitutional issues such as lack of public consultation and scrutiny of the project by the Metropolitan Planning Committee, and they will pass a final order. Now, the petition filed by Namma Bengaluru Foundation challenged the construction of 6-lane elevated road from Basaveshwara Circle to Hebbal flyover by Bengaluru Development Authority at an estimated cost of 1,791 crores. And the petition was today heard in the wake of the injunction today passed by the National Green Tribunal on October 25th, 2016. Now, citizens have been protesting against this flyover for various reasons, chief being that it will cost the city about 812 trees that will have to be axed to make way for the flyover. The NGT has stayed the flyover for 4 weeks. The next hearing is scheduled in the next 3 weeks. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Magic Bricks Now.
Now, we also spoke with P.N. Nayak from the BDA, Bengaluru Development Authority, and he says that they will now wait for the crucial National Green Tribunal nod to take the project forward.
We gave the letter of acceptance. In the meantime, NGT has given the stay for 4 weeks. We have stopped it. We have stopped the work. No, we have to file our application to the NGT. Then, once it is clear from the NGT, then we will proceed.
That's right, and that is the top story right here on the news on Magic Bricks Now, because it is a win for you and it is a win for us. Magic Bricks Now has sustained this campaign ever since this project was announced with the citizens of Bengaluru, and now comes the big important day when it has finally paid off. It is a win for the citizens of Bengaluru, the activists of Namma Bengaluru Foundation, whose case was indeed taken up by the Karnataka High Court, which indeed put the steel flyover on hold. As I just heard out, Mr. Nayak from the Bengaluru Development Authority, the Bengaluru Development Authority has given an undertaking agreeing to not start work on the controversial project. Keep in mind, this comes in the context of political parties and authorities in Bengaluru adamantly wanting this particular steel flyover that will result in the chopping down of over 850 trees in the city of Bengaluru to move forward. We've been talking to politicians, we've been talking to authorities. None of them even gave it the chance of even reconsidering this project, or even telling us the scientific reasons why that this particular project needs to be built without any cause for environmental damage. And that's the reason why right now the Bengaluru Development Authority needs to get a nod from the NGT, the National Green Tribunal, to even start work on the project. But for now, and we do have a special guest joining us, and we do have Mr. Sridhar Pabbisetti of Namma Bengaluru Foundation joining us as well. Mr. Pabbisetti, I just want to start this off by congratulating you, congratulating the citizens of Bengaluru. It is a big win. How do you feel at this point in time?
Well, absolutely. It's a great day, and we are very, very happy that the High Court has heard our contentions, and the BDA has also said that they will not go ahead with this without getting a formal go ahead from the High Court. our contentions of this being a very ad hoc project, not taken through the Metropolitan Planning Committee, as well as the lack of due, effective and deliberate public consultation have been heard. And hopefully we will get to argue further on this matter when we reconvene for the next hearing.
Mr. Pabisetti, in fact, we just got a word in from Mr. P.N. Nayak of the BDA, and he says that the Development Authority, the Bengaluru Development Authority, will now have to wait for the crucial NGT nod, the National Green Tribunal nod, to take the project forward. What are your thoughts on what the NGT will do at this point in time?
No, I mean, NGT also is seized of the matter, and they are going to look at the environmental impact side. But today, what happened in the High Court, I'm not sure if Mr. Nayak has been able to reflect on it, where BDA itself gave an undertaking that without getting a clearance from the High Court, they will not go ahead with this project. So they have to as well parallelly get an approval or go ahead from the High Court if they want to go ahead with this project. And here also they are in deep trouble with not following the due process of law.
I want to ask you, what is Namma Bengaluru Foundation's plan going forward? Namma Bengaluru Foundation has been crucial, in fact, for this event being taken up by the Karnataka High Court. It is a victory for your organization. What are your plans going forward?
It's a great victory for us, and we would like to now get into the real important crucial issue of saying that what is the due process of law and establishing that a due process of law has to be followed. While the Metropolitan Planning Committee is in force and is there today, such an ad hoc piece of planning which is not part of the master plan has not been brought into the Metropolitan Planning Committee. So the powers and the powers that BDA has are limited, and in this case they have clearly exceeded the powers that they have. They don't have mandate to indulge in a project like this, and I hope that gets established as we go forward. And that's what we are going to look at in the High Court. And definitely the most important thing that's happened now is that BDA is now will now be forced to open up their processes for scrutiny. Till so far, they have been avoiding the scrutiny by denying information to RTI, by not doing a proper thorough public consultation. Now, this process will definitely open them up into scrutiny. And that, I think, is a big win.
All right, Mr. Sridhar Pabisetti of Namma Bengaluru Foundation, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news and Magic Bricks Now, and congratulations again for the big win at the Karnataka High Court against the controversial steel flyover in Bengaluru. Away from that and on to the big focus here on Magic Bricks Now. Diwali is over and now the gloves are off and the swords are out in Mumbai and the rest of Maharashtra. Political parties are upping the ante in election season, starting with the BJP. The Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis, has a chock-a-block schedule ahead of him, filled with Bhumi Pujans and ribbon-cutting events for key infrastructure projects. The message is clear. Expect more announcements before the election code of conduct sets in. Ruchi Deshpande gets us the BJP's game plan, and she joins us on the phone. And Ruchi, tell us about Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis' schedule for the run-up for the elections.
Well, what we're hearing from the sources in the Maharashtra Chief Minister's office is that the Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis, will embark on an inauguration spree. He will sort of set the ball rolling for infrastructure projects from the second week of this month, that is November. Now, these infrastructure projects are pegged at about rupees 1 lakh crore. So, basically, just to give you a gist of what all projects he will be inaugurating going forward, you have the coastal road in Mumbai. Now remember, most of these, in fact all of these projects are Mumbai specific, and they are basically being done to ease commuting in this city. What we have on the table right now are the coastal road in Mumbai, the elevated railway corridor from CST to Panvel, as well as the Bandra-Virar elevated corridor. You have the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, that is MTHL, that will connect Mumbai to Navi Mumbai. And lastly, you have the Shivaji Memorial that is being planned right in the Arabian Sea. One more development that he did announce recently was the fact that he's going to inaugurate 500 Wi-Fi hotspots in the city, where it will be thrown open to the public again in the second week of November. What we also learned from the CMO is that these projects are basically expected to be complete in the next 2 years, that is by 2019, which basically gives them about 2 years to complete everything. in this span. Now, when we did talk to a BJP spokesperson, he hinted that yes, this was a big win for them because CM Fadnavis is the only chief minister right now that within 2 years he has been the one to inaugurate so many projects. And since the elections are, of course, as you know, coming up in February, they are already going to set the ball rolling from the second week of this month, that is November.
Getting us all the details of the BJP's plans for the upcoming civic elections. Thank you so much for bringing us that update. But even as the BJP is in full force, the Congress isn't sitting quiet either. In fact, Mumbai's Congress President Sanjay Nirupam took the battle to the doorstep of the Election Commission today, alleging that corruption is taking place in the entertainment tax waiver given to the upcoming Coldplay concert in Mumbai. Aishwarya Paliwal caught up with him. Listen to what he had to say.
We have requested Honorable Election Commission Maharashtra that the British band show, which is called Coldplay, is going to be organized on 19th of November this year. And whole Maharashtra is going through election, and a code of conduct has been imposed, almost 90% of part of Maharashtra. So it will be a direct violation of code of conduct. So our request is either you postpone it, ask the government to postpone it, or you can issue a circular or instruction not to allow any politician on the stage, so that no political party should get any political benefit of this event. There are a number of issues. Nobody knows how much money is coming in the name of this program. Who are the donors? Because 1.5 lakh tickets are going to be sold out. The organizers are claiming that 80% of the total ticket will be free of cost. Nobody knows who is holding these free tickets and who is distributing these free tickets, because most of the things are going to be operated through social media. The social media, who is going to manipulate it, who is going to control it? At the end of the day, how much money is going to come and who is going to monitor it? Who is going to audit it? Nobody knows it.
All right, away from that and on to the national capital, where Delhi's deadly smog continues to take its toll. 12 people were injured in an accident after 20 vehicles collided on the Yamuna Expressway in Mathura this morning. Dense fog had reduced visibility to between 300 to 400 meters in the NCR, with a near zero visibility in some areas. And our correspondent Deepa Rana gets us the complete detailed report.
Even 4 days post Diwali, Delhi's air pollution level continue at alarming levels. According to the data by the Delhi Pollution Control Board, in many areas like Anand Vihar, Punjabi Bagh areas, the permissible limit is 100, and although in these areas it has crossed 10 times the safer limit, and also the visibility has been dropped to zero. In fact, yesterday a lot of flights were diverted due to zero visibility. What we've been told by the official figures and by the official department, that the Delhi government is also preparing a roadmap to tackle the rising air pollution levels in Delhi. In fact, in 2 weeks' time, the roads are going to be vacuumed, and the PWD roads are also going to be sprinkled with water. Also, the construction sites with a built-up area of 20,000 square meters or more are going to be challaned if the construction sites are not cleaned properly or not covered properly, or if they have debris thrown on the roads or on construction sites. So these are the kind of mechanisms which the Delhi government is going to use to tackle air pollution levels. However, smog is there in the national capital, and also the commuters are finding it really difficult to reach their destinations in the morning hours.
All right, away from the fog in Delhi to the big national story today. The final GST, goods and services tax rates, are indeed out. A number of items will come under the zero rated items category, which means that there will be no GST levied on such goods. Now, this will include the likes of food grains commonly used by people and other essential items of mass consumption, or what the finance minister Arun Jaitley called Aam Aadmi products, will be taxed at just 5%. What's more, there will be two standard rates of 12% and 18% instead of just one standard rate. The highest tax rate under the GST will be retained at 28%. Tobacco A-rated drinks, luxury cars will be taxed at that 28% level. Now, the rollout of GST will bring the entire country under a uniform tax structure. This will also do away with the burden of double taxation that customers have to bear on certain goods. First up, let's listen to what Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had to say today.
And I'm glad to inform you that we've been able to finalize the rate structure today. And the rate structure will be the following. That there will be a zero tax rate in which several items, which approximately constitute 50% of the consumer price index basket, would be included. We don't call it the exempted items, we'll call it the zero rated items. And it was decided that food grain used by common people would be in this category. So that would be zero rated, so that its impact in terms of inflationary pressure on common people is the least. The second category was decided as the 5% item, and these will be items of mass consumption which are used particularly by common people. There will be two standard rates of 12% and 18%. Now currently there are several items, particularly white goods and others, which are taxed at an excise rate of 12.5 and a VAT is 14.5, which is 27%. Along with the cascading effect, it comes to anything between 30 to 31% for most of these items. So the present rate of tax is 30 to 31%. There was a suggestion in the draft to bring it down to 26%, but finally the consensus is that these items, which including the cascading impact, are today taxed at 30 to 31%, will be now taxed at 28%.
All right, now that we've heard Finance Minister Arun Jaitley out, let's take this top big national story forward with a very special guest who joins us here in our Magic Bricks Now studios, Mr. Rohit Poddar, Managing Director of Poddar Housing. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news on Magic Bricks Now, Rohit. On this big day, it's a historic day. I mean, after it getting passed in the Parliament, this is an important day because all eyes were on the percentage. What is the GST rate that's going to be? Will there be a consensus? There is a consensus, which is first of all good news. And now there is 5%. 12%, 18% and 28%. We'll get to the specifics later. But to talk to us in terms of how, as somebody from the real estate sector, how do you view this development of these rates?
I think quite positive, to be honest with you. I think the 5% slab is very interesting from an affordable housing perspective. They haven't announced, of course, what the slabs will be for real estate, or I know different asset classes in real estate. But I think the whole industry is hoping for, as an Aam Aadmi product, affordable housing to come under the 5% level. The second thing is clarifications are still required whether stamp duty and registration will be included or above this. My assessment is that it'll be over and above this and not included in this. So from that perspective, I think a 12% level should be the maximum, hopefully, that the real estate sector will have to pay.
All right. Rohit, we'll get to the specifics of this later because you are a key player in the affordable housing segment in this country. You're the second largest, if I'm not mistaken. We will get to the specifics. But before that, I wanted to ask you, on the whole, the fact that there has been so much consensus on GST, that we are right now looking at the day when the rates are finally out. I mean, a year ago, if somebody was asked, will there be a consensus on rates, it would have been very difficult to say. Today, we have a consensus on the rates. At the face of it all, now that GST is ever so inching closer to becoming reality, on track for April 1st, 2017 deadline, how much heart will the real estate industry take from it?
I think a lot, actually. I think it's not only the question of GST, but a question also of, along with this, radar becoming a reality, as well as the new DCR for Maharashtra in particular, and also other parts of India. So I think you need clarity in the customer's mind as to what's going on, and I think that all these measures will basically add to the clarity in the customer's mind, which will hopefully translate to a better absorption rate.
All right, a better absorption rate is absolutely key in the times that we live in. I understand that, Rohit, but let's get back to the specifics that we're talking about. 5% for the Aam Aadmi good, 12 to 18%, 12% and 18% as two different rates, and 28% for the extremely luxury goods and everything. And real estate, as you just told us, like there is different kinds of products within the real estate industry. The one for the Aam Aadmi and one for the not so Aam Aadmi, etc., etc. So the crucial point for the real estate industry from now on will be as to how affordable housing gets taxed at what rate, right? Because government from Prime Minister Modi is keen for housing for all by 2022, and for that to happen, affordable housing will be the key in terms of everything, in terms of driving demand, in terms of driving better access to capital, to everything. So, from that perspective, do you think that the next step for the real estate industry, next trigger, is when the government would call it and say that affordable housing will be taxed at 5%, luxury will be housing will be taxed at 28%?
Well, I can't speak for the luxury segment, and I certainly hope that they don't get taxed at 28, because there's a lot of unsold inventory at that level as well, which ultimately leads to NPAs on the books of banks. And I think 28% would be too high for that particular segment as well. But I think that 5% bracket for the affordable housing sector will send the right signals out, both politically and from the sort of supply side creation of it, which of course leads to lower inflation as well. So macroeconomically it's a good thing, politically it's a good thing, and it'll help massively at the ground level as well. Sort of incentivize larger developers to take affordable housing seriously. I personally feel that the other sectors of the housing space or the construction space, whether it's commercial or industrial or luxury residential, will all be between 12 and 18%. I'm kind of hoping it's 12, because I think that will give an impetus to the industry as well, which is a big sort of job creator and ancillary driver of demand across different sectors of the economy.
All right, on the day in which we have a finality as far as the rates of GST is concerned, the request from the real estate industry at least is that please put the GST on affordable housing at 5% and keep the other housing and commercial real estate development GST at either 12% or 18%, 12% preferably. Let's hope, Rohit, that the government is listening and it comes in as sweet news for the real estate sector going forward. But for now, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news on Magic Bricks Now.
Thank you.
Away from that and on to the national capital, where soon the two most congested areas of the national capital, Connaught Place and Khan Market, could be quote-unquote no vehicle zones under the Smart City program of the centre. Union Urban Development Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu has asked the NDMC to make arrangements to stop vehicular movement in these two places. My colleague Deepa Rana gets us more details in this report. Listen in.
I'm standing at Khan Market, one of the most upscale markets in the national capital, and as you see behind me, this particular place, which falls under the NDMC zone, is soon going to be declared a no vehicle zone. In fact, the Urban Development Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu has reviewed the Smart City Plan of NDMC, and the deadline has been given as June 2018. So by in a matter of just 1 year's time, this entire place, as you see, is going to be changed and revamped according to the Smart City Plan. In fact, some of the features of the Smart City Plan include that non-motorized transport is going to be used in the NDMC area, and also considering the traffic congestion which is there in the North Delhi, in the NDMC area. The Urban Development Minister has suggested to the two corporations to take necessary interventions and do road mapping and landscaping of all along the road. In fact, non-motorized transport is going to be used. Electric vehicles are going to be introduced for the benefit of children as well as elderly. And also, we spoke to the NDMC officials and they have told us that they are going to include the digital screens at major locations in the NDMC area, which will provide information about the weather conditions, pollution, as well as traffic diversions, which people can take in case of heavy traffic congestion in the area. Also, so far we've been told that the ministry has provided over 1,900 crores, which is going to be estimated cost for this entire plan. So far, according to NDMC, 650 crores have been sanctioned and have already been put to use. And in the coming months, even more funds are going to be released by the ministry. And by June 2018, a new revamped look of the NDMC area is going to be introduced.
पर्सनल व्हीकल्स जो है हमारे अगर एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे तो हम पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट यूज़ करेंगे तो स्पेस भी कम हो जाएगा और पोल्यूशन भी कम होगा।
सीरियसली यहाँ पे बहुत क्राउडेड है। आई एम नॉट फ्रॉम हियर बट स्टिल आई कैन सी वो बहुत ज़्यादा क्राउडेड है। तो इट इज़ फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द कंट्री, इट इज़ वेलफेयर ऑफ द एटमॉस्फेयर, देन हाँ वो बैन होना चाहिए।
I would really not be very happy with this becoming a no-go zone for cars. Yeah, if they can regulate the car parking in a certain way, then of course it makes more sense rather than just saying no cars in NCP.
Away from that and on to a news that affects all of us. Do not forget to fuel up today, because starting this Saturday, petrol pump dealers are on strike across India, demanding an increase in commission. Dealers say pumps will fuel your cars only from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. What's more, pump owners in Maharashtra and Punjab will not purchase petrol or diesel starting Saturday. The consortium of Indian petrol dealers is agitating, demanding an increase in the dealers' commission. We did speak with Ravi Shinde, Chief of Petrol Dealers Association in Mumbai. Listen in.
This is the second phase of the same operation where we are not purchasing our petrol and diesel to show our displeasure today and tomorrow. But we are making kind of sure that the motorists are not going to be challenged, because we have underground tanks. We have filled them up to the brim, and we will be selling till tomorrow without any problems. Provided, of course, there is no panic buying, we should be able to sail through today and tomorrow. And day after we will normally purchase, but then again we are going to operate from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is the way we want to curtail our losses. We are not going on strike. We are just an attempt to cut our costs.
So, as I understand, this basic agitation is due to the fact that recommendations of the Apurva Chandra committee report back in 2011 weren't implemented as yet.
What we dealers are asking, we are exactly asking what Apurva Chandra committee, a report which has been tabled, accepted, submitted, and then uploaded on the website.
Can I, as a consumer, should I be concerned in any way if I have to buy petrol?
And there is a cause of concern for the customers who are become so attuned to buying fuel at any time, day or night. Now that thought process has to change. They have to plan their purchases. These are the attempts to see that we cause minimum inconvenience and at the same time cut our operating costs.
So what is that time frame in which you think they should buy petrol now going forward? And is this only for that one day or subsequent going forward?
No, it is from 5th of November onwards till, of course, the recommendations are accepted in toto. We are going to operate from 9 to 6. As I said, it's a cost-cutting measure, so it is not one day. It has to go on cutting corners before you start paying the decent salaries to your workers, which is...
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of the news on Magic Bricks. Now, thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.